Hello! Today's tutorial will cover assignment settings. There are many settings available for each assignment, but I'll start with a quick overview of the tabs in case you'd like to skip ahead to the part of the tutorial where we cover a specific tab. Student tools allow you to select the tools available to students on the exam. Basic settings houses the settings that impact the overall exam, like requiring a secure browser and enabling real-time connect. Student report is where you control what students see on the report end of the exam. Control retakes is where you allow or disallow retakes. Student view is the tab that has settings for what students see during the exam. Access time windows is the tab used to set recurring windows when students can work on the exam. And access control allows you to set a single date or time window for the exam. For teams using Edcite schools, an important thing to note is that district distribution settings will override assignment settings, and student group settings will override all other settings for the students in those groups. For example, students with accommodations. To open assignment settings, I go to the assignment editor and select the gear button near the top right of my screen. Then I select Open All Settings. One quick note, you can use this button to break your assignment into sections, and you can create separate settings for each section by clicking on the settings gear in the gray bar. This is great for things like only allowing a calculator for one section of your exam. Next, we'll complete a quick walkthrough for each setting. You can always use our knowledge base for deep dives into each. Under Basic Settings, I can require sign-ins if I plan on sending students a quick link. I can also mark as a common assessment so that teachers can copy and use but not make edits to the assessment. Alternatively, you can also click on the lock icon in the assignment editor to do this. If I'd like to randomize the question order or require a secure browser, I can also do that on this tab. There's also this handy setting for tracking student focus, where I can later check the student work page to see how often a student left the assignment tab. I can enable real-time connect, where I can message students and even talk to them over a video. Finally, on this tab, you can also enable autoplay of audio on questions and restrict teachers from viewing the assignment to increase test security. In Student Tools, I'm able to set which calculator I would like students to have access to, decide the text-to-speech language and whether I would like to disable text-to-speech on the assessment. I can enable the periodic table, add a reference sheet for student use, and enable the masking tool. For some math and science exams, I may choose to enable math notations and math tools in essay responses. And finally, I may want to enable pagination for passages. The student report settings allow me to control what students will see in their report for the assessment. The report pops up as soon as students are done testing. I can hide the teacher graded label, create a customized submit note that will be displayed at the top of the student report. The next 4 settings cover what content students will see in their student report. By default, students will see everything, but I can use the settings to hide scores and answer details from students. This means they will not see any results. I can hide the answer details so students see their scores but not how they answered. I can hide the correct answers so students will see their scores and their answers to the questions, but I will not see the correct answer. Lastly, I can hide the score from students so they will see their answers and the correct answers, but no scores. Under the Control Retakes tab, I can disallow student retakes. In the Student View tab, I can control what students see while testing. I can allow answer checks after each question. Students will have the option to see their grade and answer after each question, and then be able to retry the question. Only the first answer will be submitted. I can disable the question reset, which means students cannot reset their answer. I can choose whether or not I'd like to alert students to unanswered questions. I can set the font size for the exam, enforce a time limit, and show elapsed time to students. I can also disable pasting in student answer areas. And finally, show content clarifiers. Content clarifiers are created in the question editor, and with this option selected, students will be able to view them on the exam. Educators can choose to make the content clarifiers words, definitions, and even pictures. On the Access Time Windows tab, you can decide if you'd like to limit student access to recurring windows and then set them here. Finally, the Access Control tab will allow you to limit student access to a single date and time window. Thanks for joining to learn more about assignment settings in Edcite. Please don't hesitate to use our knowledge base for step-by-step guides or email support@edcite.com with specific questions. Happy testing!